What if I told you you can shoot a very cinematic video, almost blockbuster style, with a device that just fits in your pocket? No, I'm not talking about the DJI Pocket 3. I'm talking about something that we all have. One of these guys. A phone. An iPhone, an Android phone, whatever it is that you want to use. In today's video, we're going to go over budget filmmaking. For those of you that don't necessarily want to spend big bucks on a mirrorless camera, or even an action camera, or something like the DJI Pocket 3. How can you achieve engaging videos that look and sound good to start your cinematic career? Now, just like any other camera, a mirrorless camera, an action camera, whatever, equipment needs accessories in order to make you the most successful that you could possibly be. Now, I'm going to suggest a few things here besides, the obvious, like getting lights and things like that, right? Yes, there'll be Amazon affiliate links below for like the 2 or 3 things that I'm going to recommend. But honestly, these are just things that are across all cameras, right? That make you successful. So let's talk about accessories that you need. The first accessory, hands down for your phone, and this is really, again, any camera, you're going to need an ND filter, right? Your camera will automatically adjust the shutter and all that stuff, the ISO, to give you the proper exposure. And you don't want your camera to go on autopilot. You want to follow the typical rules in filmmaking, the 180-degree rule and so forth. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you have no idea what any of these rules are or how to manipulate your aperture and your ISO and all that, I have a separate video that dives deep into camera settings and getting this cinematic look. I highly recommend you guys watch it. It's applicable to iPhones as well, action cameras, all that stuff. But in that video, I highly stressed ND filters, because what ND filters do when you are outside, when you're shooting outdoors, or you're just in an area that has a lot of light that you can't control, it allows you to filter that light, right? To bring that light down a little bit. It's like sunglasses for your camera sensor, basically. And then it allows you to keep those cinematic values, right? The shutter, basically following the 180-degree rule, and you can now choose what you want for your aperture and things like that, right? Gives you more creative control. An ND filter is absolutely important. I recently found a variable ND filter that I did a video review on for iPhones, and I think it works with Android and all that. And it's actually really good. I prefer variable ND filters. I like something that I can dial in. I don't want to have to take things and snap them back and forth and things like that. And that ND filter worked really, really well. I'll put a link in the description of this video if you guys are interested in the original review. And of course, a link for you guys to buy it. Now, besides an ND filter, you need good sound. Sound is extremely, extremely important for any video. Studies over and over again have found that people will forgive a bad video, quote unquote, bad quality or maybe improper exposure or things like that, but they will not forgive bad audio. If they can't understand what you're saying, they're gone. They're going to leave the video almost immediately. Now there's like shotgun mics that you can plug in right to your phones, and that might be a good solution, but I think for most videographers and people that are just starting off, I think a lavalier mic, a wireless lavalier mic, will probably get you a lot more mileage, right, initially, until you really learn everything, and they're easier to use, right, and they seamlessly connect. And then it also, most of them come with 2-packs, so you can mic someone else and things like that. And you can also use them in a shotgun mic setting if you wanted to. So I think a lavalier mic is fantastic. There's all the new stuff that's coming out, right? Rode has their new like wireless Pro series or 32-bit internal float. Hollyland just came out with their new Hollyland Max 2 or whatever. And DJI just came out with DJI Mic 3. I don't think you need to spend big bucks for the latest and greatest, right? I'm still personally using a lot the DJI original mic series, which I thought was fantastic, and it really does get me through the day. And it comes with like the USB-C or the lightning cable adapter, so you can just plug directly into your phone. That's always a great solution. So look into the old stuff, right? Save some money. So now let's talk about some of the myths out there, or at least some of the cultural shocks. I think a lot of inspiring filmmakers, they think they need the latest and greatest, most expensive gear, but honestly, your phone already has a lot of good tech in it. And if you're just starting off and you're trying to save some money, you're trying to, film on a budget, you can get a lot of miles with this guy, right? So you don't necessarily need the most expensive stuff. And that goes back to the lavalier mics, right? You don't need to buy the latest and greatest. If you're shooting on your phone, just get whatever you can afford and make sure it fits your workflow. Now, I think in order to master mobile cinematography, like for the iPhone, for example, the camera app is actually pretty limited. You can't you can't manually select certain things, and that's a big negative. So there's a lot of free apps, free camera apps that allow you to fully control the camera, and I think that's an absolute must. So download whatever makes sense to you, Android, iPhone, I don't know. Do your homework there. I'm not going to suggest an app because there's so many of them, and it always comes down to what is it that you want to get out of it, right? So find the app that's highly rated and fits your work profile. But that's the first step you need to do to unlock the full potential of your camera. But for all cinematographers, anybody that's getting into video for production, lights are extremely important. Invest in lighting. The money that you're saving by not having to buy a mirrorless camera or whatever, invest it in your sound and in your lights. Get a good background, something that's interesting, that lights up your videos, that makes them, attract people naturally, and make sure that you are investing in sound. So for lights, get the cheap stuff right now. GVM, I believe that's what they're called. They make really affordable LED panel lights. Godox is a great brand. Veltrox, I think the tubes are Veltrox. Ulanzi makes some good stuff. Newer, Small Rig. Invest in good lights, and I promise you that's going to take you further than anything else. Should you invest in a gimbal? I think so. I think gimbals give you the ability now to get unique movement shots, right? It's just another tool in the toolbox. They're not too expensive. I think I did a video review of Zhiyun's mobile gimbal, which had AI and all that stuff. And it's actually really, really good. I was surprised just how good it is. The misconception that I had is, well, phones have great stabilization to begin with. Why would you need a gimbal? But honestly, when you turn off the phone's auto digital stabilization and you use a gimbal, it does give you more cinematic shots. It gives you more believable shots. So here's a couple of shots that I took with my phone, right? Just trying to get some cinematic examples for you guys. And you can see that the phone is highly, highly capable, right? As long as you can control the manual settings, you can get great results. Yes, the sensor is extremely small. Yes, the sensor is not going to compete with a full-size mirrorless camera or a cinema camera. Of course we know that. But for YouTube, for Instagram, for TikTok, whatever it is that you decide to do, it's more than enough. Most people won't notice the difference, and it's because of the lighting and the movements and the shot placement and all that stuff that I'm really considering in each of the clips. And that's what you need to master. You can master that with any tool. Once you've mastered it, if you really like filmmaking, then upgrade. There's nothing wrong with that. So the last thing that I want to talk about is planning, right? You have to plan your shots ahead of time. You have to plan the story. You have to plan the flow of the story, right? The intro, maybe a little bit of background. What is it that you're trying to solve or do? What is it that you're trying to showcase? And then finally, the benefit, the prize at the end that the viewers wanted to know or see, right? Now, for anything out there, the squeeze has to be worth the juice. And if it's not, and the viewers don't care, at the end of the video, they're going to be frustrated with you. And if you're taking too long to get to that, the punchline, then that's also going to frustrate your viewers. I don't think people do that intentionally. I think that just comes back to poor planning. I think people just didn't plan out the videos correctly, and then they kind of rambled or they went off course and so forth. And plan your shots accordingly. Try to figure out what lights do you need? What equipment do you need? Are you going to need the gimbal? Are you going to need an ND filter? Are you going to need 2 mics? So forth. And if you can, do a storyboard, shot for shot, what you're trying to achieve. Like always, guys, if you have recommendations, please leave a comment below. Let me know some of your favorite gadgets or techniques that may help other people. That's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative, and if you did, please consider subscribing and joining our channel memberships. I'll catch you on the next video.